Today we're taking a deep dive into a plant that feels like it belongs to another world. It's an icon, a silhouette that just defines majesty, the baobab.
It really is one of the most striking plants on Earth. And,
Hmm.
it has mastered survival by doing things completely differently from almost any other tree out there.
And we're not just talking about baobabs in general. Today we're focusing on the true titan, Adansonia grandidieri, the giant baobab of Madagascar.
One of 6 species that are found only on that island. It's the grandest of them all.
Which brings us to this really stark paradox. Here you have this symbol of resilience, something so ancient and massive. So how on earth is it now fighting for its life?
That is the core mission for us today. We have to unpack its history,
Mhm.
its really shocking biology, and the modern threats that have pretty tragically put it on the endangered list.
Okay, so get ready, because we're going to find out that this giant isn't really a tree at all. It's more of a colossal sponge, and its entire future depends on a nightly drama starring bats and lemurs.
Let's start with that history. Gives you a sense of the scale we're dealing with.
To really get the weight of its current struggle, you have to go back. Way back. We're not talking hundreds of years. Baobabs are truly prehistoric.
Uh-huh. They were around before the supercontinent Pangaea even started to break apart.
So, what, 200 million years ago?
Around then, yes. So when we say prehistoric, we mean this genus literally watched the continents drift.
Mhm.
It's why some individual trees can live for thousands of years. They're like living archives.
And humans noticed them early on. I know the first written records are from Ibn Battuta in the 14th century, but people had been using them for millennia before that.
Oh, absolutely. And that ancient history is what makes their global distribution so fascinating. You've got species in Madagascar, mainland Africa, even Western Australia.
Which at first seems to make sense. Pangaea split, and the trees just drifted apart with the continents.
That was the obvious theory. It's neat, it's tidy, but then genetics got in the way. Yeah. Scientists found that the Australian baobab is just too genetically similar to the African ones. If they'd been separated for 200 million years, the genetic gap should be enormous.
So the timeline just doesn't add up. The continental drift theory is out.
It seems so, which leaves a couple of other pretty wild ideas. One is that seeds just floated across the ocean.
A long shot, surely.
A very long shot. But the other theory, which I find really compelling, is that humans brought them.
Humans carried them to Australia. When?
The thinking is maybe around 70,000 years ago. It suggests the plant was so vital that early humans literally carried it with them on their migrations across the globe.
Wow. That completely changes how you see it. It's not just a plant, it's an ancient companion.
Exactly. It's a local hero.
Oh.
And that's definitely how it's seen in Madagascar. They call it Renala,
Which means?
mother of the forest. It's central to their culture, their ceremonies. People leave offerings at the base of the trunks, believing spirits dwell inside. It's a physical and spiritual pillar of the landscape.
And that physical presence it's just overwhelming. You stand next to one, and it can be 3 meters wide, 30 meters tall. I mean, as tall as an 8-story building.
And you just assume it's made of dense, solid hardwood.
Of course. How else could it stand up?
And that's where you'd be wrong. This is the big reveal. The baobab is not a tree in the way we usually think of one.
Okay, so what is it?
It's a massive, woody succulent.
A succulent, like a cactus.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
It's a giant living water tower. Its entire structure is about water.
A colossal succulent. That's the nugget you need to hold on to. So how does that sponge-like structure actually work?
Well, first, just look at the bark. It's smooth and shiny, almost gray. That surface is designed to reflect the intense sun to minimize evaporation.
So it's literally wearing sunscreen.
You could say that. But the inside is where it gets really interesting. It's not solid wood. It's layer after layer of fibrous, spongy tissue.
Ah, so it can soak up water.
It can soak up incredible amounts of water during the rainy season. A single large tree can hold up to 120,000 liters.
That's just mind-boggling. That must be why it's called the tree of life.
Exactly. Because it holds all that water, it can produce these incredibly nutritious fruits when everything else is bone dry. It becomes an oasis, a source of food and water for the entire ecosystem.
Okay, but then how do people harvest the bark? I mean, you can't just strip bark off a regular tree without killing it.
Right, but again, it's not a regular tree. Because the inside is that fibrous regenerating material, sustainable harvesting of the outer layers doesn't kill it. As long as it's done carefully, the tree just grows it back.
That is an incredible level of resilience.
It's an engineering marvel. It's built for survival in a really harsh environment.
So during the day, the baobab is all about defense reflecting the sun, holding its water. But as soon as the sun goes down, everything changes.
The whole focus shifts to reproduction, and it is a spectacular performance.
The flowers.
The flowers, they're huge, they're pure white, and they are completely nocturnal. They have this beautiful bundle of filaments that looks like a giant pom-pom.
And I've heard the opening is an event in itself. It's not slow, is it?
Not at all, it's fast. A bud can open in under half an hour as dusk falls. It's a visible, dynamic process. Of course, you'd have to climb way up to the top to see it up close.
But who is it opening for? If it's only at night, it's not for the bees and butterflies.
No, this is where you see its unique partnerships.
Hmm.
The pollination is done by the night shift.
Which includes?
Bats, for one, and, in Madagascar, nocturnal lemurs.
Lemurs. Really?
Yes, brown lemurs, mouse lemurs. They're drawn to the huge amount of nectar in the flowers. As they drink, their furry faces get covered in sticky pollen.
And then they just carry it to the next flower.
Exactly. It's this beautiful, specialized relationship. Once that's done, the flower develops into the fruit.
The famous Baobab fruit.
Right. A hard shell with a dry, spongy pulp inside full of seeds. In fact, the name Baobab comes from Arabic for many-seeded fruit.
So we've got this ancient, water-storing, sustainably harvested succulent that supports life and is pollinated by bats and lemurs. It sounds invincible.
It should be.
And yet it's endangered. It just doesn't seem to add up.
That's the tragedy of it. For all its resilience, Adansonia grandidieri is the most exploited species in its genus, and its official status is now endangered.
What's the biggest driver? What's pushing it to the brink?
In a word, habitat. Catastrophic habitat loss. This species only grows in the tropical dry forests of southwest Madagascar.
And how much of that forest is left?
Less than 3%.
Yeah.
Over 97% of it is already gone.
Almost total destruction. So the few that are left are facing
A multi-front war. You have slash-and-burn farming destroying what's left. You have overgrazing from livestock, which compacts the soil so seeds can't take root.
And then there's exploitation. But we said traditional harvesting was sustainable.
It was. But what's happening now isn't traditional. It's being driven by the global superfood trend.
Ah, the Baobab powder you see in health food stores.
Exactly. That huge international demand has turned the fruit into a commodity. And it's leading to intense, unsustainable harvesting that drains the parent trees and prevents natural regeneration.
So people trying to be healthy in one part of the world are unknowingly helping to destroy this icon in another.
It's a cruel feedback loop. But the most critical part of this crisis, the thing that's really stopping them from recovering, isn't just about the adult trees.
It's about the next generation.
It's about the babies. The problem is, young baobabs are incredibly fragile.
How so?
Their seeds need two things to germinate: water and shade. They need the cool, humid microclimate that an existing forest understory provides.
So without the forest?
Without the forest, the ground is exposed. The seedlings just bake in the sun. They dry out and die almost immediately. The giants need the forest to protect them when they're small.
So when the forest is gone, their future is gone too. The mother of the forest can't raise her own children.
It's a vicious cycle. That's why conservation efforts now are focused on reforesting the entire ecosystem, not just planting baobabs. They have to rebuild the nursery.
Wow, it's just... We started this deep dive talking about a plant so tough it survived continental drift, so resilient it can store a swimming pool of water.
And we end on its surprising fragility. It shows that even the biggest, oldest, toughest organisms are completely vulnerable when humans destroy the specific conditions their young need to survive.
The giant baobab really is the mother of the forest, but her children need that forest to be rebuilt around her.
And this leaves a really important question for you to think about. The baobab needs the forest understory to survive its youth, and the forest needs the baobab's resources to survive the dry season. They are totally interdependent. So how can any conservation effort truly succeed if it only focuses on the big, charismatic plant, instead of focusing its main efforts on rebuilding the entire ecosystem that supports it? That holistic challenge is something really worth exploring further.